to today's report, the 20th of March. Okay, news events. I think everyone really knows probably what I'm going to report today. There's so big news yesterday. So today I'm going to talk about the BOJ ending its negative rates, right? Right. So the Bank of Japan, Governor Kazuo Ueda, has emphasized that the significance of this year's shunto wage negotiations, indicating that substantial wage increases were critical for potential wage adjustments by the BOJ. So the central bank had been hopeful that higher wages would ignite a virtuous cycle, bolstering domestic demand and subsequent feeling inflation. Now, before I move on, just want to remind you all, in the past, remember I did report that Ueda has always said that he doesn't want any inflation that is being imported from, out of Japan due to supply shock and everything. If they, all this inflation that's important, he doesn't count. He wants an inflation that is supported by the Japanese population on its own. That means it must be something that is sustainable. Then they'll be looking into increases the rate. So they waited and waited, and last week, right, Ueda has already hinted that this year's shunto wage negotiations will be one of those decision. The results will be one of the main things that will influence the decision whether they want to hike rates or not, and that was it. So in a landmark decision, Japan's corporations consented, to a 5.28% wage increase for 2024. And this marks the most substantial pay rise in 33 years. So that's why there was this talk, right? It was interpreted as a precursor to central bank's departure from its long-standing stimulus efforts, and that hints a strategic shift in monetary policy. So subsequently, the BOJ made a pivotal decision by abolishing its negative interest rate policy, marking its first rate hike in nearly 2 decades yesterday. Even I was quite surprised. I was like, wow. I thought they would just delay to the next one, but it was immediate and went straight away to 0.1 instead of a 0% from -1, right? When I was thinking of more like a 0, but it went to 1. So although the decision faced some oppositions within the board, it concluded a 2-day meeting by setting short-term interest rates between 0 and 0.1% from the -0.1%. Now, these adjustments were seen as a significant step towards achieving the Bank of Japan's target of stable 2% inflation, now deemed within reach. Okay. Now, moving away from the negative interest rate policy introduces higher borrowing costs for businesses and households alike, while simultaneously enhancing the profitability of commercial banks and financial institutions. So you can look into the commercial bank stocks in Japan from now. Okay, so since 2016, the Bank of Japan has maintained short-term interest rates at -0.1% to discourage financial institutions from hoarding funds, encouraging instead an increase in lending and investments to rejuvenate the economy. Now, despite this strategic pivot, the Bank of Japan has expressed caution, indicating that it does not plan to pursue aggressive rate hikes immediately. And this is one of the reasons to one of the explanations to a subsequent price action that we saw. Now, it anticipates maintaining favorable financial conditions for the foreseeable future, especially considering the delicate state of growth in the world's fourth largest economy. Now, the response of the Japanese yen to these developments was unexpected, with the dollar-yen exchange rate climbing from 148.977 to 150.7 and continued to climb even today. Now, Ueda refused to be drawn into comments as to why the yen weakened, saying, "As always, I won't comment on short-term currency moves, but if currency moves have a big impact on our economic and price forecast, we will stand ready to take any appropriate monetary policy response." Now, speculation abound regarding the reasons behind the yen's depreciation against the US dollar, with some attributing to BOJ's indication of financial conditions will stay accommodative for now, or the absence of clear signals regarding future rate hikes, which may have placed downward pressure on the yen. But anyway, later on, when it comes to the technical part of it, I'll show you the charts. There probably is an explanation right over there. I'll let you all know. Okay, when it comes to the chart. So with that, that's the end of the fundamental report for today. Let's move on to the charts.